My name is Hannah, and this is my year of less stuff. Hey y'all, welcome to another self-sponsored review. Yay! It's a self-sponsored review because I purchased these products myself. Brands do sometimes send me products for the purpose of review, but that's not the case with the products in this video. And the other thing that makes it a self-sponsored review is that I purchased it with a budget that my YouTube channel has for buying things for review. Sometimes I review things on my channel that I bought myself with my budget for myself, like my personal budget. So I recently bought, for example, one Patrick Ta blush, but I didn't buy it for the purpose of review. I bought it for myself because I wanted it. The thing with self-sponsored reviews that makes it different from that is that I'm buying things that I don't think I maybe necessarily would buy if I didn't have a YouTube channel, if I wasn't doing these videos where I review products. I feel like that makes the review even more comprehensive because I don't have a stake in loving these products or even in keeping them. I bought them for review, and then I will assess whether or not they float my boat enough for me to keep them later on. And I've actually been trying these products out for a while. I have a pretty good sense of them, so I think I'll go ahead and include that information about whether I'll be keeping or giving away each one of these 5 products as part of this review. Okay, I realize that I just got almost all the way through the introduction without saying what it is I'm actually reviewing. I'm reviewing 5 products from the brand DANESSA MYRICKS. It's a brand that I've been interested in for a really long time. I recently made my first purchase from the brand with my personal beauty budget. So I bought something for myself, and it impressed me so much that I decided to go ahead and do a full-on self-sponsored review with 5 more products from the brand that piqued my interest, but that I wouldn't have necessarily gone ahead and purchased for myself. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Hannah. I'm so glad you're here. I love beautiful things, but I try not to normalize overspending. A lot of that goes on YouTube. I used to overspend on beauty products, and I'm not about that life anymore, and I don't want that life for you either. So I try to keep a balance here. If that sounds good to you, I hope you'll subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. So before I launch into my 5 reviews of the 5 products that I purchased for review in this video, I will briefly touch on the product that inspired the video. This is the DANESSA MYRICKS Colorfix Foil in the shade Milky Way. Again, I purchased it with my own beauty budget for myself, and I'm so glad I did. If you've been watching my channel, if this isn't your first time to my channel, you've probably seen me talking about this already, so I'll try not to go on at length about it, but I will put some links to other videos in which I've talked about this product in the description box down below if you want to know more about it specifically. For the time being, I'll just flash some footage of swatches of this up on the screen, and I will reiterate that the thing that makes it great is that it's got that incredibly wet looking shine, and it sets down to a budge-proof, bulletproof finish. So it has the look of an eyegloss, and it helps me achieve that glossy look on my lids, and it has that nice liquidy quality that makes it easy to manipulate. But unlike eyeglasses, which tend to destabilize eye looks, I actually feel like this sets down to such a firm film that it helps to stabilize eye looks that might otherwise be tending towards creasing, especially on my hooded eyes. So this is an instant classic for me. This is kind of dramatic, but I feel like I already can't really imagine my makeup collection without it, even though I've only had it for about a month. And speaking of eye gloss, there's no way that I was going to do this video without reviewing one of the Colorfix glazes. I was hoping that the Colorfix glaze formula would be a gloss looking product that would set down to a budge proof finish the way that the Colorfix foil does. I was wondering if maybe the material in which the glitter particles are suspended for the Colorfix foil was the glaze, and that the glaze was just that but without the glitters in it. But that's not the case. This actually is a bona fide eye gloss. It isn't as slippy and sticky as other glosses. It definitely seems like it won't migrate around the face as much. For example, I have this one from Fluide that I really like. It's the Universal Gloss in Elysium from the brand Fluide Beauty. It's a true gloss. It doesn't set at all. It's just like a shiny Vaseline kind of. And it looks really beautiful when it's applied at first, and then it migrates. It doesn't just stay tacky, it actually tends to end up somewhere else on the face than where you initially put it. The DANESSA MYRICKS Colorfix Glaze, is much more heartily formulated than that. It's just beefier, it's thicker, and it tends to stay where you put it, but it does not set down completely. And what that means for me is that as a glaze on my eyes, it does crease. And I've tried it in so many ways. I've had these products for over a week at this point, and I've been playing around with them pretty much every night during makeup playtime, and I've been wearing them during the day as well. So I've tried all of them in several ways. I wanted to make sure that I really knew the products before I sat down to film this review. And I've tried every way to get this to set enough on my lids so that it doesn't crease. And even the thinnest layer, it will eventually, over the course of maybe the hour after I apply it, pick up all the rest of what's on my eyes and start gathering in the relatively deep creases of my hooded eyes. So I can report to you something that I didn't know before I decided to do this investigative video, that the Colorfix Glaze doesn't set in the way that I think maybe all of the other Colorfix products do, but at least I can tell you that it doesn't set in the way that the Colorfix foils do. This comes in several colors, by the way, and one of them is, of course, clear. I ordered it in the shade Grunge, which is a translucent black with some shimmer particles in it. It was the one that excited me the most. I was thinking if I was going to be getting my hands on an eye gloss that set down enough for me to have kind of like a shiny glossy lid, then this grungy, glimmery black was the one that I wanted the most. Unfortunately, I don't think that it's something that's going to make its way into my permanent makeup collection. Because I'm not a makeup artist, because I'm just me doing makeup on myself for YouTube, and what I do that's editorial is also practical, because I want it to be something that will last through me, talking on camera at the very least. And this, if I put it on my eyes, it wouldn't even make it through a whole video before it kind of like picked up and creased. It really is a true gloss. That said, if I were a makeup artist and I were looking for like the top of the line eye glosses and face glosses, the ones that would be the easiest to manipulate and the ones that would be like the most predictable and the most reliable, these are the ones that I would buy. All right, product number 2. This is another case in which I was incredibly curious about how the formula would feel in real life and how it would wear on the skin. This is the iconic DANESSA MYRICKS Dew Wet Balm, but once again, I didn't get it in the most neutral color. I didn't get clear. I got it in the shade Rosewater. I figured that the information about the way that it looks in real life with the clear balm, at the very least, we know that it's clear. But with the other colors, like with Rosewater, I didn't see any information online about how much color there was in it, how translucent it was, whether it shows on the cheeks as a color. And let me tell you, I'm so glad that I decided to go with this color. And this one is one where, even though I do have swatches, and I'll show them to you in a second, this is what I'm wearing on my cheeks today, and I don't have any blush on. So the amount of color that's showing, and granted, I am extremely pale, right? So it's like swatching it on a piece of paper, seeing it on my cheek. Sorry, I just had to get up and change my camera battery, and that always discombobulates me, but I hope that you can see what I'm talking about. I hope you can see the pigment on my cheeks. And I will now go ahead and roll the close-up footage of me swatching it, and you'll be able to see that there's kind of like this silvery rose quality to it. It's very reflective. It has a silvery quality to the reflect, but it doesn't translate to a gray streak or like a weird metallic quality on the cheeks. It really does look balmy. I'm also wearing it on my lips today. I'll actually reapply it to my lips a little bit because I've been talking and I've been drinking that matcha and it's probably worn off. But I feel like on the lips, you can really see that beautiful kind of translucent silvery rose quality. Yeah, that's quite a thick application. Hopefully you can see that. It's all I'm wearing on my cheeks and lips today. I didn't layer it with a blush. I didn't layer it with any kind of lipstick or lip liner or anything. I really wanted you to be able to see the full impact of what this is capable of. So the big question for me about this, and the one that you all have been asking me in DMs and in some comments, is does it set down or does it stay tacky? And the answer is something in between. The thing that I have had in my collection, I say have had because I'm almost completely panned it, so it's pretty much on its way out of my collection. The thing that I have had before that this reminds me of the most, this is it right here. It is the Holika New Drop Lumi Cheek. And you can see that it's almost completely used up. There's just a little ring around the corner edge right there. I really love this product. I've obviously used a ton of it. I like it because it gives a really, really wet glass skin look. And even though it doesn't dry down completely in the way that, say, the Charlotte Tilbury Spotlight Wand dries down completely, it has sort of a balmy, oily quality that means that it isn't sticky. So I don't find like my hair getting stuck into it. I don't find it getting stuck all over my fingers during the day. I feel like I can touch it, and it's almost as if it has some oils in it that have risen to the surface and sort of created a film that makes it safe on the cheeks and makes it less messy, even though it's still dewy. And in fact, that retained dewiness, like that physical dewiness that stays there throughout the day with both of these products, that's part of why it stays looking so beautiful. And that's why I've reached for this over and over again and almost used it up. I'm really excited to have a similar thing in this beautiful silvery rose color and in this giant pan. So I'm not going to whiz through it and use it all up completely like I did with this one. This is a product that I'm definitely going to keep. This is going to make its way into my collection permanently. I'm very tempted by the other color. There's sort of like a bronzy color of it that I'm really tempted by. I'm weirdly tempted by the kind of rainbow reflective one. There's one that's clear but with like rainbow shimmers in it, or like multicolored shimmers in it. That really tempts me. I'm a huge, huge fan of this product. I used to be someone who was constantly on the hunt for a super glossy looking cheek that would set down completely, that would like dry down completely. And I used to say that it would be out of my collection if it stayed tacky. Like anything that was like Vaseline on the cheeks, like a true balm, I was like, no, I don't F with that kind of thing. I feel like this Holika product kind of changed my tune because it showed me that there's a way to formulate a balm product where it doesn't dry down completely, but it doesn't cause all of the problems that I associate with balm products. The kind of balm products that I tend not to get along with are the ones where it's basically just like coconut oil mixed with pigment. So you really are just putting like coconut oil on your cheeks, and so it looks wet because of course coconut oil is dewy. Like the RMS ones, I just was never able to get behind those, and there are a lot of products like that out there and they never really go well for me. And also coconut oil tends to kind of break me out. But this kind of thing where I feel like it's a balm, I just feel like it's so incredibly well formulated. They're not just kind of like, maybe we can get people to put this coconut oil on their cheeks if we like tell them that it's fancy and charge a lot of money for it. That's how I feel about most balms. And this feels like DANESSA MYRICKS was like, I am going to formulate the perfect balm product for makeup artists and for makeup wearers that will give the best, most wet look glass skin effect with the least practical problems. And one last note about that before I move on to the next product. I'm wearing the Dew Wet Balm on my cheeks and lips by itself today, but I have been wearing it on top of other products, layering it with other products, mixing it with other products all week long, and it does play well with others. It works beautifully. I think that my favorite use for it is to put on a cheek. Like I do like the whole thing. Like I'll get a blush, a cream blush, mix it with the Charlotte Tilbury Spotlight Wand, which does set down completely, paint that all over my cheeks, or sometimes I've been using the Daniel Sandler Illuminator, paint that all over my cheeks, let it set, and then I'll take the Dew Wet Balm and just top it with just a little bit right on the tip of my cheekbone, and that's all I have to say. Let's do the other illuminator while we're on the topic. Yes, I did get 2 illuminating products. Leave me alone. Let me live my best life. This is just how it is between me and makeup these days. So this is the DANESSA MYRICKS Illuminating Veil, and it's a liquid highlighting product, very much like the Charlotte Tilbury Spotlight Wand or the Charlotte Tilbury, what's it called? Hollywood Flawless Filter. Although this is more of an intense highlighter, this is a real spoiler because I haven't reviewed it on camera yet and I haven't even told you that I got it yet, but I actually am going to be reviewing the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. People have been begging me to do it for years. I'm finally doing it, so I am going to be able to show you a swatch comparison, not only with the Beauty Light Wand, but with the Hollywood Flawless Filter in a minute. First, let me just tell you about this product. So it comes in several shades. This one is one that I felt like would work the best for me. It's supposed to be like a light peachy color, and it's a bit darker than I was expecting it to be. So it works on me, but it's definitely got kind of like a ruddy pale gold quality rather than that really, really light champagne that just blends right into my skin tone. So even though it's a light color, I wouldn't mix this, for example, with foundation. I think that that's something that you can do with this. It's advertised as being very multi-purpose. You can put it on your eyes, on your cheeks, you can mix it in with products, you can use it as even like a priming-ish product, but I wouldn't do that with this one because it's just a touch too dark for me. Again, I'm very, very pale, but the color is absolutely light enough and versatile enough for me to use it on my cheeks, to mix it with blushes, etc., etc. The great news about this is it does dry down completely, and it's very shimmery. It's very beautiful and sparkly. I feel like this is the DANESSA MYRICKS version of the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand that I love so much, and the advantage to this one is the packaging. This is just much, much better packaging for this type of product. You know that this one gets so messy, and also it runs out really quickly. There's not very much product in this, especially for the price. This is just a much better alternative in those practical ways. And I'll show you the swatches right now, and you will see what I'm talking about with the darkness. The Charlotte Tilbury, which is what's right below it, the Spotlight Wand, is a much paler, creamier champagne. The glow is a little bit more a gleam with the Charlotte Tilbury, whereas I feel like with the DANESSA MYRICKS Illuminating Veil, there's really some shimmer in it. It's almost like more textured, more dimensional in terms of the shine, and I really do like that. For good measure, I swatched the Hollywood Flawless Filter below the two of these, and you can see that of the three of them, it is the one that has the most subtle shine. And actually, I would say that of the three of them, this is the one that has the most shine. It's like really, really luminous, incredibly beautiful. I did put it all over my eyes one day, all over my eyes and cheeks, and it looked amazing on the eyes. It gave me like a really glowy, almost like slightly sparkly glow on my eyes for the day, and it did set down on the eyes and it did stay all day on the eyes. It didn't crease. Will I keep this and add it to my personal collection and use it up myself? I haven't totally decided yet, but I'm leaning towards giving it away. In this case, simply because I love being able to give makeup products as gifts. It's one of the best things about receiving things for free to review, and even about buying things just for the purpose of review, that if I decide not to keep them, I can give them away. It's a great joy to me. And I'm not hurting for liquid illuminators. I have so many of them. I'm really loyal to the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand. It's really versatile, works on my cheeks, works everywhere. I can mix it in. The match for my skin is just a little bit better because, again, it's like lighter and creamier rather than being this sort of soft gold that this one is. And the packaging of this is so brilliant that even though I've been using it for a week or two, it hasn't been sullied. It's in beautiful condition, and I could give it away and it would feel like brand new. It's just the packaging's really, really well designed. What I'm trying to say is that if I do decide to give this as a gift instead of keeping it for myself, the fact that I'm giving it away is circumstantial and has nothing to do with how I feel about the product, because I'm actually really, really impressed by this. And if I had never discovered other liquid illuminators that mix well with blushes, set down completely, give me that dewy wet shine throughout the day, are so versatile, are so delicious and yummy and satisfying to use, if I hadn't already found other ones like that and incorporated them into my makeup collection, then I would be clinging to this and like you could pry it from my cold dead hands, because it's a category of product that I really love, and this one does check all of my boxes. It's just that I already have ones that work well for me. I love giving things away, and so this one might actually end up being given as a gift. Product number 4, continuing to speak of illuminators. It's another illuminating product. I know I'm totally out of control. All I want in life is to glow to the gods. This is the Prism FX Hydrating Lotion. It's a priming lotion, and I probably wouldn't have purchased this if I hadn't watched Amy's DANESSA MYRICKS review. So my friend Amy, her YouTube channel is Amy Loves Makeup. She did a full face of DANESSA MYRICKS, and actually I'm glad that it's coming up because I'm not reviewing any foundation products because I don't really wear foundation, and I definitely don't wear full coverage foundation, and that's what DANESSA MYRICKS has created. But Amy wears more foundation than me, knows more about foundation than I do, and she did purchase and review the DANESSA MYRICKS foundation product in her video. So I recommend that if you're curious about the foundation. Another thing that Amy showcased in her video is this product, the Prism FX Hydrating Lotion. And when she put it on her face in the video, I was like, what? I was like, can I, what? It's so pretty, and it reminded me so much, the way that it looks reminds me so much of my ride or die holy grail of all time, although we all know there's really no such thing as a holy grail, but if there were such thing as a holy grail, my holy grail primer would be the VDL Lumilayer primer. And the thing that I love about it is that it's that glassy effect, but it has like this rainbowy shift, almost like a blue-white rainbowy shift, like a soap bubble in the sun, like sort of like oil spill. There's something about that for a priming product that really primes the skin to be made luminous and kind of like clear looking, the best of anything that I've ever found. So I'm so hardcore about that VDL primer, and when I saw Amy putting this on, it looked like she was applying like an amped up version of the VDL Lumilayer primer, almost like the VDL Lumilayer primer with more pigment in it. So even though I'm trying to get through my remaining 2 primers so that I can move on to my unopened bottle of the one from VDL, and even though I told myself that I'm just gonna stick with that and never branch out into anything else, this was a special case because I was buying it for review, and I feel like I know about this type of product. Like I know about that soap bubble holographic oil spill priming type thing. So I was like, I have got to get it and try it because I can speak with authority on whether it's similar to the one from VDL, and if so, like what are the subtle differences, which one is better, etc., etc. And here's what I have to say about this. It's glorious. It is glorious. I will roll the footage right now. I'll show you the swatch in my hand. It is exactly what I thought it was going to be based on seeing Amy apply it to her face. It really is like the VDL Lumilayer primer on steroids. So it's less clear. I feel like the one from VDL is a little bit more clear, almost like a gel. It almost has this kind of like gel-like quality where its particles are suspended in a clear base that sort of spread out over your skin and then set. This is more lotiony than that, but it feels like there's more intensity, more density of the particles. It just feels more glowy, more brightening, more magical. It's really special, and I actually like the lotiony quality of it a touch better than I even like the sort of slippy primary quality of the one from VDL. So I actually feel like if you're just looking at the 2 substances side by side, this one might have even edged out my quote-unquote holy grail primer. However, it is a much smaller bottle. It's just half a fluid ounce, 15 milliliters, and it's for more money. So it's not the kind of thing that I mean, it is the kind of thing that I would buy myself. It exactly, in terms of price per ounce and price per use, isn't a product that I myself would be a repeat purchaser of over and over again. I'm definitely going to keep it in my collection because I love this kind of thing. It's a special treat for me to have it because I purchased it for review. Now I can, keep it and use it up, and I'll enjoy it while it lasts. But I probably won't be going back and repurchasing this and always keeping myself stocked with it, simply because primer is something that I do go through. And so paying, I think, the $28, every month or 2, or however quickly I would go through this if it were my only primer, that adds up to too much money per year for me personally with my budget. I'm guessing that if I were a makeup artist, though, it would be a different story. I'm guessing that if I were, I'm saying I'm guessing because I'm not a makeup artist and I've never trained as one, so I don't really know. But I'm guessing that if I were a makeup artist and I had a budget for my kit and I was trying to keep my kit stocked with the best of the best, I would keep my kit stocked with this, because I have to confess, I actually think it's like the best of the best. It's the best product of this kind I've ever tried. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's my all-time favorite primer. It's just so good. But I'm really into this kind of like illuminating, brightening, pearly primer. It's right up my alley. And she just knocked it out of the park. She did such a good job formulating this one. So the last product I got for review is the Vision Flush. So there are all of these different formulas that come in this little tube from DANESSA MYRICKS. Like I said before, there's the matte one, the metallic one, the gloss one, the foil one. There might be another one that I'm not remembering. And then there's this other kind of multi-purpose product that she sells, which is the Vision Flush. It comes in this kind of tube with a little pointy doe foot applicator, and it's much more liquidy. So the little tubes, I feel, are more like creams and gels. And this is like a very, very liquidy multi-purpose product. And the fact that it's so liquidy made it hard for me to really make it work super well on my eyes. And I think it would probably be easier if I were doing like precision work close up. Again, if I were working on someone else, if I were using it for like precise artistry. But for me, with like everyday use of just a normal person putting stuff on her eyes, for a cream or liquid to work on my eyes, it has to kind of like blend itself. It has to be something that it's kind of mistake proof. And this one is so liquidy that I didn't find it to be mistake proof on my eyes. However, it's stunning on the lips and cheeks. Absolutely stunning. I got the shade Nutcracker. And I'll talk about the color in a second, but first I want to finish talking about the formula. I'll show you the swatch close up and you'll be able to see this beautiful, rich, pigmented swipe. That's like the swatch that shows you what it looks like on the lips. And then you'll see a swatch where I buffed it out and you can kind of see what it looks like as like a liquidy blush on the cheeks. The formula is so incredibly versatile. It does work on the eyes. It just didn't work as well for me on the eyes as it did work for me on the cheeks and lips. I know that some people really love liquidy stuff on the eyes. It's not my forte. I haven't really figured out how to make something so watery work so well on the eyes. But again, it's just so blendable, so pigmented. It's almost like Glossier Cloud Paint's Eat Your Heart Out. That's kind of how I feel about the formula of this, especially for the cheeks. It's just perfect, perfect, perfect. And I actually would go ahead and say that the Glossier Cloud Paint is the known entity to me that is the most similar to this in terms of the effect that it gives on the cheeks. This is a tiny bit more liquidy, but the Cloud Paints are pretty liquidy. I would say they're more liquidy than creamy. And this is also more liquidy than creamy. And Nutcracker, as you'll have seen in the swatches, it is that dreamy milk chocolate that has just the slightest touch of something that makes it not so cool toned that it looks like dirt on my cheeks, but other than that little drop of warmth or maybe that little drop of rosiness that's keeping it from looking too much like a contour on my cheeks, like too cool toned on my cheeks. Other than that, it's brown. And so many brown makeup products or products that promise to be brown on the cheeks or on the lips end up looking orange on me. And this absolutely does not run that risk at all. So it's kind of a unicorn. It's like the milky brown multi-purpose product of my dreams. You know, the other brown product of my dreams, like brown liquid cheek and lip product of my dreams, well, it's not a liquid, it's a cream, but that I've talked about on my channel, I haven't swatched this next to that. I'm going to do it right now because I know that some of you will want to see how this color compares to Rituel de Fille Eros. Just as I suspected. So it is a little bit warmer. Rituel de Fille Eros is just a little bit cooler. They are pretty similar. That's Rituel de Fille Eros on the bottom there. And then the top swatch is DANESSA MYRICKS Nutcracker. I do love Eros, the Rituel de Fille cream blush, but it's pretty intensely brown, and I do have to use a very light hand if I want to use it as a blush. It is also beautiful on the lips, but I've been looking for something just like that, but just ever so slightly easier for me to wear, like ever so slightly more natural on me, and something that I don't have to be quite as careful with. And this is it. This is it. And the formula is beautiful. And the color is also, again, something I've been looking for. So that is really exciting. If you can't tell already, I'm definitely going to be keeping this in my collection. And I'm interested in other colors of this. Like, this is one formula from DANESSA MYRICKS, just like the Dew Wet Balm, that I'm kind of like, like, I bet the other ones are really, really pretty. And I keep kind of going back and looking at the colors. I probably won't buy one anytime soon because, you know, I've got my beauty budget. I'm trying to be smart and not acquire too much at one time. And I already have these beautiful products to play with. I'm just passing that information along to you so that you can get a sense of how much I've really been impressed by this formula. One thing I will say about this is that it does have a very strong rose water scent, like roses. I mean, it's really strong. Like, it smells like a perfume. I actually kind of like it. And because it's a multi-purpose product, putting it on the lips with that really strong, fresh roses scent, it's a very distinctive experience. It almost makes it feel kind of like herbal to me, even though it's more floral. Just like putting something that floral on the lips, I don't know, it's a whole thing, but it's probably something that would be off-putting to some people. So especially if you don't like the scent of roses, but also if quite strongly scented things in general don't work for you, then just be a little bit wary about this. Don't go like buying 5 of them sight unseen based on my review if you think that that might be a problem for you. So that is it. Those are the 5 products. Quick recap. The eye gloss does absolutely everything it's supposed to do, but isn't for me because it doesn't set completely, so I will probably go ahead and give that one away. The Dew Wet Balm, love it so much, kind of want to buy the other colors. The Illuminator, the liquid illuminator, very, very impressed by it, but it's a little bit redundant in my collection because I already have products like this that work really well. If you don't, I can't recommend this highly enough, but if you do, just know that this is just, you know, another really, really great one. The Prism FX Hydrating Lotion, absolutely stunning. I am really excited that I get to use this tube. And the Vision Flush, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What I'm left with after going, you know, having my experience with the Colorfix foil, being so impressed by it, and then getting these 5 products and trying them out, what I'm left with is the impression of a brand in which every single product has been meticulously formulated to perform at the top of its game. But I guess what I'm trying to say is at the top of the game of that kind of product, right? So everything it says it's going to do, it does it perfectly. No problems. I kind of get the feeling like the idea is that a working makeup artist can't afford to have an issue, like on set, can't afford to struggle with the thing, can't afford to have there be some sort of like, oh no, like it doesn't mix well with this, or it's doing this, or it, you know, it's dripping, or it's, you know, or it's messy or something. That's like everything from the formulas, the packaging to the colors, it's all been formulated so that you can have total control over what you're doing, basically, which of course, that is what an artist would do. That is what a makeup artist would do. The thing that's fun about it for me as a consumer is that it doesn't feel like it is a makeup artist brand that's like angling for that consumer dollar, but it still feels accessible to consumers. So I feel like it occupies for me this really lovely space, and it's the space in which I apply my own personal sense of artistry and my passion for art. And you know, I've studied painting and art, and like I am an artist in other ways. I'm not a trained makeup artist and I don't do makeup on other people, but part of my interest in makeup is an artistic interest. And so I feel like these products bring that out of me more. There's something about the Vision Flush. It's like, you know, it's not like, oh, you're using a lip product on your cheek, or you're using a cheek product on your lip, or you're trying to put something like with the Glossier Cloud Paint, that's a blush. It's being marketed as a blush. And sometimes I use it on my eyes, and sometimes I use it on my lips, but I always kind of feel like, oh, I'm using a blush on my eyes, I'm using a blush on my lips. And this, it's like, it's just pigment in a suspension in a tube with an applicator, and you can do whatever the butt you want with it. Like, you do what you want with it. And it's in this extraordinary color that's so hard to find for me in makeup. And it's just like, it makes me feel like kind of like a kid who got paints for her birthday, and like it's the day after her birthday and she just can't wait to start playing with those paints. And I like the way that my experience with this brand has kind of like cut loose my love of artistry and my sense of makeup as an art form from like the consumer obsession and like the brand obsession and the luxury obsession and the feeling of like, oh, I want to like get that one new eyeshadow palette so I can do that like one eye look that one influencer showed me how to do. This feels kind of like the opposite of that to me. And on top of that, which is already great, the quality of the products is so high. They perform and perform, and they just can't stop, won't stop, don't stop. All in all, a gratifying experience. This was such a fun self-sponsored review to do. And thank you guys who've been asking me for this, because it really helped to show me that it was something that I really did want to do. I'm so glad that I got to know this brand. I should have said this at the beginning, but if you take nothing else from this review, take this. What are you doing if you're not following DANESSA MYRICKS on Instagram? Because she is so cool and so talented. I mean, just unbelievable, just brilliant, blazing, gloriously genius. Just awesome. Highly recommend. Of course, I'll link DANESSA MYRICKS down below. I will link all of the products. If you have a question about one of these products specifically that I didn't answer in the review, absolutely leave that question in the comments down below and I'll do my best to get to you. Thank you for watching, y'all. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed filming it. And I hope that you are remembering to take extra good care of yourself right now so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.